we have the opportunity to make a habit of empathy. With respect to the bench, I think you are exactly right. We have to have people with the intellectual qualifications and academic credentials to perform, but that can't be the only criteria. We have generally lately drawn only from the academic areas, and some of our best justices have been people who know a little bit about how the world works, know what it looks like outside of a court. Because part of, especially when you get to the highest levels, the Supreme Court, and I taught constitutional law for 10 years, 95% of the cases that come before the Supreme Court or the appellate courts are actually pretty easy to resolve. I mean, a lot of these cases are cases where there's a clear statutory, there's clear language that tells you what the law is, or there's clear precedent that tells you what the law is, and Scalia and Ginsburg will agree on the interpretation, and those cases typically get washed out. The cases that we pay attention to, that we care about, are the 5% of the cases, or the 1% of the cases. And what makes them hard cases is because they're conflicting values. It's not just that it's right and wrong, there might be two rights or two wrongs, and you've got to try to resolve them. And there, the question is, what's in the person's heart and their gut, not just what's in their head. And what I want are people on the bench who have enough empathy, enough feeling for what ordinary people are going through, that they're not just in a bunch of abstractions up there, but they're focused on, what does this really mean? Brown versus Board of Education is a great example. I mean, the truth is that the science that showed that black children going to segregated schools was bad for them, the sociology that was used was imperfect. I mean, it wasn't really perfect science, but people on that bench, people like Earl Warren and Brennan and others, they understood, what's really happening is that this is part of a stigmatization of blacks, and so you can't pretend that there is anything like separate and equal. It's inherently unequal. That's a statement of values and a statement of morality, a statement of who we are and what we believe in. And I want my judges to understand that part of the role of the court is to look out for the people who don't have political power, the people who are on the outside, the people who aren't represented, the people who don't have a lot of money, who don't have connections. That's the role of the court. And yes, I want women on the court. Absolutely.